Introduction. Imagine for a moment that you are an artisan, a master sculptor, and that the raw material you work with is your own life, your health, your relationships, your prosperity, your inner peace. Now imagine that, from the day you were born, 7 tools of an almost divine power were placed in your hands. Tools capable of shaping energy, of attracting circumstances, of sculpting reality itself according to the design of your heart. There is only one problem. No one told you that you had these tools. No one taught you how to use them. And most importantly of all, you have been blindfolded. And so, you have spent your life in the workshop of your existence working blindly. With the most powerful tools in the universe in your hands, you have been creating your reality by accident. Sometimes, by pure chance, you hit the clay in the right way and create something beautiful, an unexpected success, a moment of pure joy. But most of the time, your unconscious movements, guided by fear and inherited beliefs, create shapes you didn't want. The sculpture of frustration, the vessel of scarcity, the figure of constant struggle. That feeling you sometimes have that your life is not under your control, that you are a victim of circumstances, is not born of a lack of power. It is born, simply, from a lack of awareness. You have been a blind artisan. This journey you are beginning today is not to give you new tools. The tools are already yours, they always have been. This journey is to take off your blindfold. Together we are going to rediscover and reclaim the 7 powers of your consciousness. The power of your attention to illuminate reality. That of your imagination to draw it. That of your belief to solidify it. That of your emotion to give it life. That of your word to decree it. That of your intuition to guide it, and that of your will to direct it. The soul's workshop has always been open. The clay of your life is waiting. The tools are in your hands. It's time to take off the blindfold and start sculpting with intention. Chapter 1, the first power, attention. You have decided to remove the blindfold. You are now in the silent workshop of your soul, facing the infinite clay of life. You are ready to start sculpting. In your hand, you feel the weight of the first and most fundamental of the 7 tools. It is a tool so familiar, so constantly in use that we often completely underestimate its power. We take it for granted without realizing that it is the source of all creation. This first tool is your attention. We have been conditioned to think of attention as something passive. We pay attention as if it were a coin we hand over. We see it as a simple flashlight we use to illuminate a world that already exists. But this is a deeply limited understanding. The truth is, your attention is not passive. It is an active, creative force. It is not a simple flashlight. It is a laser beam. A beam of focused consciousness that not only illuminates reality, but energizes it, nourishes it, and calls it into existence. The most fundamental law of consciousness is this: where your attention goes, your energy flows. Think about it. Your vital energy, your creative power, your force of manifestation, it all flows through the channel of your attention. What you focus on grows. What you ignore withers. There are no exceptions to this law. Imagine reality as a vast stage in complete darkness. On this stage, infinite possibilities exist. Success and failure, joy and sadness, health and illness. All coexist as latent potentials. Your attention is the only spotlight in the entire theater. What you choose to illuminate with the beam of your consciousness is what becomes real for you. If you habitually focus your attention on your fears, your lacks, and negative news, you are using your powerful spotlight to energize the possibility of suffering. If, on the contrary, you deliberately choose to focus your attention on your goals, on gratitude, on solutions, you are watering the possibility of prosperity and well-being with your creative energy. Modern science touches on this mystery. In the strange world of quantum physics, the observer effect shows that the simple act of observing a particle influences its behavior. Similarly, putting your focused and sustained attention on a possibility in your life is not a passive act. It is an act of creation. You are participating in the collapse of potentiality into a tangible reality. Knowing this, the most important question you can ask yourself is, where is my attention most of the time? Because if attention is the most powerful tool for sculpting reality, it is also the most coveted resource in the modern world. You were born in an era that has been called the attention economy. Multi-billion-dollar corporations, social media algorithms, and media outlets fiercely compete, 24 hours a day, to hijack your most valuable resource. Every notification, every sensational headline, every 15-second video is an attempt to steal your light beam and direct it towards someone else's goals, to sell you a product, to make you feel outraged, to keep you hooked. The result of this constant assault is fragmented and reactive attention. Our spotlight is no longer a coherent laser beam that we can direct at will. It has become a broken disco ball, casting erratic flashes in hundreds of directions at once. We jump from one task to another, from one thought to another in a state of continuous partial attention. And fragmented attention can only create a fragmented life. A life of half-finished projects, superficial conversations, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed and scattered. The first act of sovereignty for the architect of reality is, therefore, to reclaim control of their attention. It is to stop allowing the world to decide where your light should shine, and to start directing it yourself with conscious intention. Practice reclaiming your beam of light. Strengthening your attention is like strengthening a muscle. It requires deliberate and consistent training. Exercise 1, the attention inventory. The first step is an honest diagnosis. You cannot manage a resource if you don't know where you are spending it. For a full day, become an auditor of your own attention. Set a silent alarm to go off every hour. When it rings, stop and write down the answer to this simple question. What was my mind really focused on for the last hour? Be brutally honest. Were you focused on your most important task? Or was your attention hijacked by worries about the future, resentments about the past, or meaningless digital distractions? At the end of the day, review your inventory. It will give you a clear map of where your creative energy is leaking. This awareness is the first and most powerful step toward change. Exercise 2, the Mind Gym Single Focus Meditation. If your attention is a muscle, meditation is the gym where you train it. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes each day to this practice. It is not about emptying your mind. It is about training control. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and your only task is to place the spotlight of your attention on one thing, the sensation of your breath entering and leaving through your nose. Inevitably, within a few seconds, the focus will stray to a thought, a sound, or a sensation. Your mind will wander. This is not a failure. It is the moment when the exercise's repetition occurs. The instant you realize your attention has strayed, your job is not to judge or get frustrated. Your job is, with kindness but with firmness, to redirect the beam of light back to the sensation of the breath. Every time you do this, notice the distraction and return to focus. You are doing a push-up for your prefrontal cortex. You are strengthening the muscle of executive attention. At first, you may do it dozens of times in 5 minutes. With practice, periods of sustained concentration will become longer and more effortless. Ejercicio 3. The architect's intention. Training in the gym must be applied in the workshop of life. Every morning, before starting your day, dedicate 2 minutes to setting a clear intention for your attention. Deliberately choose what the main target will be for your light beam that day. Write it down. Today, my priority attention will be on completing the report for Project X. Today, my main attention will be on listening with presence to my family. This intention acts as a GPS for your attention. Throughout the day, when you find yourself lost in distractions, you can use that intention to remind you of your north and redirect your focus toward what truly matters. Your attention is your most sacred capital. It is the currency with which you buy your reality. Every second of your life, you are investing your attention in something. You are voting with your consciousness, and the universe is counting the votes and manifesting the result. Reclaiming your attention is the first and most fundamental of the 7 powers. It is the foundation upon which all others are built. Chapter 2. The second power, imagination. Welcome to the mind cinema, the soul's secret workshop. The realm of the second and most magical of the 7 powers, imagination. In our modern rational culture, we have made the serious mistake of downgrading imagination, relegating it to the corner of children and dreamers, viewing it as an unproductive form of escapism. This is one of the most limiting beliefs we have been given. The truth is, imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the workshop where reality is built. Every object, every system, every human achievement first existed as an image in someone's imagination. The bridge you cross, the phone you hold, all were first a vision in the inner world before they could manifest. Imagination is not a fantasy. It is the most advanced reality simulator in existence, the faculty that allows you to travel to the future, build a prototype, and return to the present with a clear blueprint. The problem is that we all use this power constantly, but most of us use it unconsciously and often destructively. Destructive imagination is what we call worry. It is the act of using your powerful mental workshop to build vivid simulations of the futures you most fear. You assemble, piece by piece, the film of your own failure, and you do it with such mastery that your body and subconscious react as if it were truly happening. Worry is literally a prayer for what you don't want, and then there is constructive imagination, which we call vision. Vision is the disciplined and deliberate use of your imagination. It is the act of consciously building the simulation of the future you do desire. It is the architect who, before laying a single brick, walks through the finished building in their mind, feeling the space and solidity of their creation. To become the architect of your reality, you must stop being a default horror film director and become the visionary director of your life's masterpiece. To do this, you must understand the laws that govern this workshop. The first law: your subconscious is blind. Your subconscious mind, the builder that materializes your blueprints, cannot distinguish between a real experience and a vividly, repeatedly, and emotionally imagined one. For it, both are real. If you imagine the sourness of a lemon with enough intensity, your salivary glands will activate. Your body reacts to the image. A vividly imagined success is, for your nervous system, a real success that has already happened. The second law: feeling is the seal. A mental image, no matter how clear, is an unsigned blueprint if it's emotionally neutral. It is the feeling, the emotion, that acts as the seal that tells your subconscious, this is real, this is important, build this. You can visualize $1 million, but if you do it from a feeling of lack, the emotion overrides the image. The message your subconscious receives isn't wealth, it's desperation. That's why the key to effective visualization is not just to see, but to feel. The third law: focus on the what, not the how. The job of the architect, your imagination, is to design the blueprint of the finished building with absolute clarity and beauty. It is to define the what. The job of the builder, your subconscious and the universe, is to figure out the how. It is to arrange the materials and synchronicities. When you obsess over the how, you're abandoning your architect position and disrupting the flow. Your only task is to hold the vision of the final outcome so clearly that the how is forced to appear. Practice the architect of inner worlds. Exercise 1. The diagnosis of your mental cinema. Before you can project a new film, you must be aware of the one currently playing on autopilot. For one day, pay attention to your daydreams, those moments when your mind wanders to the future. In your journal, create 2 columns: worry films and vision films. Each time you catch yourself imagining the future, note which column it belongs to. This exercise will give you a clear view of whether you're using your mental workshop to build your paradise or your own prison. Exercise 2. The vision script. Now let's become deliberate screenwriters. Choose an important goal you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months. Your task is to write a brief, 1-paragraph script for the scene that takes place right after you have successfully achieved that goal. Don't write about the struggle to get there. Write about the moment of celebration, relief, and triumph. Use rich sensory language. Describe what you see, hear, and feel. Ejercicio 3 is the 5-minute rehearsal. A script is useless if not rehearsed. Every day for the next week, dedicate 5 uninterrupted minutes to your mental rehearsal. Read your vision script, then close your eyes and project that film onto your mind's screen. Don't watch it as a spectator. Feel it in the first person. Immerse yourself in the sensory details. But above all, immerse yourself in the emotion. Generate the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. By doing this, you're not daydreaming. You are performing the sacred act of creation. You are rehearsing your future until it becomes your present. Your imagination is not an escape from reality. It is its construction workshop. What you build with persistence and feeling in the invisible world of your mind becomes the blueprint that life, your obedient builder, is compelled to manifest in the visible world. Chapter 3. The third power, belief. You now have a clear vision, charged with emotion and sustained by your focused attention. But for the great builder of the universe, your subconscious mind, to begin the work, it needs one last thing. It needs the blueprint to be signed, sealed, and authorized with an unbreakable signature. That signature, the third and perhaps most decisive of the 7 powers, is your belief. A belief is not hope. Hope admits the possibility of failure. A belief is not a desire. Desire is born from a feeling of lack. A belief is something much deeper. It is an inner knowing. It is a silent certainty held in the mind, regardless of the evidence presented by the 5 senses. It is the act of accepting an idea as an absolute truth in the court of your own consciousness. And the moment you accept something as true, your entire universe rearranges itself to reflect that decision. Your belief is not a simple opinion about reality. It is the command you give to reality about how it should be. Because you don't believe what you see what you believe. This principle operates through 2 fundamental and simultaneous mechanisms: belief as a perceptual filter and as a vibrational magnet. Belief as a perceptual filter. Your brain is constantly bombarded by billions of bits of sensory information. To prevent collapse, it has an extraordinary filtering system, a gatekeeper to your consciousness. This guardian decides what information is important and deserves your attention and what is noise. And the criterion it uses is your belief. If you have a belief that opportunities are scarce and it's hard to make money, your guardian becomes an expert at finding proof. It will filter out any evidence to the contrary. A business opportunity could appear right in front of you, but your brain, programmed by your belief, will literally not register it as relevant. Conversely, if you install the belief that opportunities are everywhere and prosperity flows to me, your guardian receives a new command. Suddenly, you start noticing small businesses thriving. Opportunities were always there. What has changed is the filter through which you view the world. Belief as a vibrational magnet. But a belief is much more than a passive filter. It is an active magnet. It is the core frequency that your inner radio station broadcasts to the universe. As we already know, your beliefs generate your thoughts, and your thoughts generate your emotions. And it is your dominant emotions that create your vibrational signature. A belief in scarcity generates the emotion of fear. A belief in abundance generates the emotion of gratitude. The universe, which is a field of energy and resonance, does not respond to your superficial desires. It responds to your vibrational signature. It must, by the law of resonance, bring you circumstances, people, and events that vibrate in harmony with your inner state. Therefore, a belief of unworthiness is not just a sad thought. It's a magnet that attracts situations that will make you feel unworthy. A belief that you are magnetic is a magnet that attracts people who are drawn to your energy. Your belief is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The world doesn't give you what you want. The world gives you a confirmation of who you believe you are. Knowing this, it becomes evident that the most important work we can do is that of a belief engineer. We must learn to identify our limiting beliefs and consciously install those that empower us. This power is born from understanding the origin of our beliefs. They are formed through childhood hypnosis, constant repetition, and emotionally charged events. The good news is that as architects of our reality, we can use these same 3 mechanisms to install new beliefs. Practice belief engineering. Exercise 1, the root belief diagnosis. Often the problem we see on the surface is just the symptom of a deeper root belief. This exercise is an archaeological excavation to find that root. Choose an area of your life where you feel stuck. For example, your finances. The surface problem is, I don't make enough money. Now take your journal and use the 5 whys technique to get to the root. Why don't I make enough money? Because my job isn't valuable enough. Why do I think my job isn't valuable? Because I don't have enough talent. Why do I think I don't have talent? Because I'm afraid of failure. Why am I so afraid of failure? Because I believe my worth depends on success. Why do I believe my worth depends on success? Because deep down I don't feel worthy of unconditional love. Root belief: I am unworthy. A money problem is rarely about money. Exposing the root belief to the light of consciousness is the first step to dissolving it. Exercise 2. The Advocate and the Defender. This technique is for dismantling an old belief and building a new one. Step A. The Devil's Advocate. Write your root-limiting belief in your journal. Now, become its advocate. Write all the evidence your mind has accumulated over the years to prove it's true. Allow your inner critic to present its full case. Step B. The Defender of the New Truth. Now on a new page, write your new empowering belief. For example, I am intrinsically valuable and worthy of all abundance. Become its defense attorney. Your mission is to search your life history for any evidence that contradicts the old belief. By doing this, you are consciously using your brain's confirmation bias in your favor. You are training it to start looking for evidence of your new truth. Exercise 3. Living from the End. This is the practice of embodiment, the fastest method to install a new belief. Choose your new empowering belief. Now for an entire day, commit to acting as if it were already your absolute truth. This is not about big external actions. It's about a subtle change in your being. Constantly ask yourself, how would the version of me who absolutely believes in their own worth walk? How would they talk? How would they make this small decision? Would you respond to that email from fear or from the calm of certainty? Would you walk into that room slumped over or with your back straight? This practice of embodiment is a powerful affirmation in action. You are giving your subconscious the emotional experience of the new reality, and it will, being obedient, begin to take it as the new directive. Your belief is not a simple opinion. It is the DNA of your reality. It is the magnet that attracts experiences and the lens that colors how you see them. You don't have to be a victim of the beliefs that were installed in you in the past. You are the engineer, and you have the power to choose, design, and install the beliefs that will serve you to build the life you yearn for. Chapter 4. The Fourth Power, Emotion. We find ourselves at the creation's fiery heart, the engine of the soul. The fourth and most volatile of the 7 powers, emotion. If your thoughts and beliefs are the structure of your reality, your emotions are the power that gives life to that structure. They are the electrical current flowing through the circuit of your intention, transforming potential into matter. An intention without emotion is like a light bulb without electricity, a perfect shape, but dark and lifeless. We have been conditioned to see our emotions in 2 ways, both deeply flawed. We either see them as enemies to be repressed, or as uncontrollable reactions to the external world. Both perspectives place us as victims of our own inner landscape. The truth of the conscious creator is radically different. Emotions are neither your enemies nor uncontrollable reactions. They are your guidance system and your manifestation fuel. Emotion is a guidance system. Every emotion you feel is a piece of information. It's a signal from your deeper self, a dashboard indicator informing you in real time about the quality of the energy you are emitting. There are no good or bad emotions in a moral sense. There are only emotions that indicate alignment and those that indicate misalignment with your true self. Expansive emotions, love, joy, gratitude, peace, are your guidance system signal that your thoughts are in perfect tune with the reality you want to create. Feeling good is not a luxury. It's the confirmation that you are on the right path. It's the vibration of reception. Contractive emotions, fear, anger, envy, sadness, are not a punishment. They are an alarm. They signal that a thought or belief you are holding is in dissonance with your truth. Anxiety is the alarm telling you you're believing in a thought of scarcity. Anger is the alarm signaling that a boundary has been crossed. Ignoring these emotions is like taking the batteries out of a smoke detector because the sound is annoying. The conscious creator listens to their emotions. They use them as a precise compass to diagnose which thought needs adjustment. Emotion is manifestation fuel. Beyond being a guidance system, emotion is the power that ignites the engine of creation. As we've established, your subconscious mind is the emotional mind. It is not impressed by cold, abstract ideas. It is impressed by feeling. Feeling is a universal language that the quantum field understands perfectly. It's a vibrational signature. When you hold a thought, I want to be prosperous, but your body is vibrating with the feeling of fear, the command the universe receives is not prosperity, it is fear. Emotion always shouts louder than thought. Therefore, the art of manifestation is not the art of positive thinking. It is the art of feeling positively, regardless of external circumstances. It is the act of deliberately generating the emotional signature of your wish fulfilled within you. You don't wait for success to feel successful. You generate the feeling of success to attract success. You don't wait for love to arrive to feel loved. You generate a state of love within you to attract loving relationships. This is the quantum leap. You stop being a thermometer that simply reflects the temperature of the environment, and you become a thermostat that sets the room's temperature. Practice the alchemist of emotions. These exercises are designed to help you move from being a victim of your emotions to becoming the master of your inner state. Exercise 1. The emotional barometer. This is your daily practice to honor your emotions as a guidance system. At the end of each day in your journal, draw a simple timeline of your day. On that line, mark moments when you felt contractive emotions, stress, anger, anxiety. For each of those moments, ask yourself and write down, what thought or belief was I holding just before or during this emotion? Then mark the moments when you felt expansive emotions, joy, calm, gratitude, and ask yourself the same question. This exercise will give you a startling clarity about the direct link between your thoughts and feelings. It will show you from your own experience that it's not situations that make you feel a certain way, but your thoughts about those situations. Exercise 2. The emotional anchoring technique. This is a tool to deliberately generate the emotion you need as fuel. Choose an expansive emotion you want to cultivate, like confidence. Close your eyes. Scan your memory for a moment in your life when you felt unbreakable confidence. Relive that moment. Immerse yourself in the experience. Now, the most important part. Feel the confidence in your body. Where is it located? Is it a feeling of solidity in your chest? At the peak of that emotion, create an anchor. A simple, discrete physical gesture like bringing your thumb and index finger together. Repeat this process several times, associating the anchor with the feeling. You now have a button to access that state. Before an important meeting or when you need a boost, activate your anchor. Your conditioned nervous system will release the chemistry of confidence, changing your state in seconds. Ejercicio 3. The transmutation ritual. You can't repress a contractive emotion. The energy has to go somewhere. The key is not repression, it's transmutation. When you feel a strong negative emotion such as anger or fear, don't fight it. Find a private space. Instead of directing that energy inward, self-criticism, or outward destructively, give it a conscious physical outlet. You can hit a cushion. You can scream into a pillow. You can blast music and dance until you are exhausted. While releasing the energy, hold the intention. I am releasing this stagnant energy from my body to create space for peace. After the physical release, sit in silence for a minute and breathe deeply. You have moved the energy. You have honored the alarm without letting it burn the house down. Your emotions are not your enemies. They are the echo of your thoughts and the fuel of your future. They are the color palette with which you paint the canvas of your life. Learning to be the master of your emotional landscape is to reclaim the artist's brush. Chapter 5. The fifth power, the word. At the heart of almost every great mystical tradition lies a profound truth. The universe was not created from matter, but through a sound, a vibration, a word. The ancient Egyptians believed the god Ptah created the world by simply naming all things. The word was not something that described reality. It was the force that created it. We have forgotten this sacred power. We use words carelessly, as a cheap tool to communicate data. We don't realize that every word we utter, and more importantly, every word we repeat in the silence of our inner dialogue, is a decree. It is a spell. It is a vibration we send to the field of reality, a command that our subconscious and the universe rush to obey. The word is the bridge between the invisible world of intention and the visible world of form. A thought or an image can remain an ethereal potential, but the moment you give that thought a structure through a word, you are anchoring it. You are crystallizing it. You are taking a fluid energy and giving it a definite shape. It is the final act that begins the process of materialization. Understanding this forces us to become incredibly conscious artisans of our language, because most of us use this creative power against ourselves day after day without even realizing it. Words of power versus words of impotence. Your habitual vocabulary is an accurate diagnosis of your state of consciousness and the reality you are creating. There are words that build and words that destroy. Words of impotence are the subtle saboteurs of our creation. They are the words we use by default, programmed into us by a culture of doubt and scarcity. "I'll try" is perhaps the most self-sabotaging word of all. It presupposes the possibility of failure. It is a declaration of non-commitment. The universe doesn't respond to trying. It responds to decisions. "I hope" places power entirely outside of you. It's the passive posture of the victim. It's not an act of creation. It's an act of supplication. "I need" is a declaration of lack. It is the most potent vibration of scarcity. Each time you say "I need," you are strongly affirming your current state of not having. "I should" is the voice of guilt and external obligation. It is an energy of resistance that almost always generates the opposite effect. Words of power, on the other hand, are those born from a consciousness that you are the source, the creator. They are clear, direct, and aligned decrees. Instead of "I'll try," use "I choose" and or "I decide." These words declare your power of choice. Instead of "I hope," use "I know." It's a declaration of faith and certainty. Instead of "I need," use "I am" or "I have." These are declarations of fullness. Instead of "I should," use "I want" or "I am committed to." These words are born from authentic desire and sovereign commitment. And the most powerful declaration of all, the supreme command, is "I am." The two most potent words in human language. Because whatever you put after "I am" becomes a direct command to your subconscious about your identity, and your reality will always conform to the identity you declare yourself to be. If your habitual declaration is "I am clumsy" or "I am always tired," your obedient mind will conspire to give you a reality that confirms that identity. If you begin to declare with feeling and persistence, "I am competent" or "I am vitality," you are forging a new identity, a new blueprint that reality must by law begin to build. Practice the artisan of language. Becoming a master of this power requires conscious vigilance and practice. Exercise 1, the vocabulary audit. For the next 3 days, your mission is to become an auditor of your own words, both spoken and in your inner dialogue. Keep a small log on your phone or in a notebook. Every time you catch yourself using one of the words of impotence, simply make a mark. Don't change anything yet. Don't judge yourself. The only goal is to become aware of how often you use language that weakens you. This diagnosis will show you the source code of your self-sabotaging program. Exercise 2, the conscious replacement. Now that you are aware, you can begin to intervene. For the next week, your practice is to catch and replace. Every time you are about to say "I'll try," pause, breathe, and consciously replace it with "I will do" or "I choose to do." Every time you think "I need more money," stop and replace it with "I choose to attract more abundance into my life," or "I am open to receiving more prosperity." Observe the subtle but immediate shift in your feeling of inner power. Each replacement is an act of real-time reprogramming. You are moving from being a slave to your language to being its master. Exercise 3, the decree journal. This is your workshop for forging your new commands. Every morning, as part of your ritual, dedicate 5 minutes to writing 1 to 3 powerful decrees for your day. They must be in the present tense and use "I am" language. I am a channel of creativity and innovative solutions today. I am a presence of calm and compassion in all my interactions. I am a magnet for perfect opportunities and connections. After writing them, read them aloud with authority and feeling. You are not begging. You are declaring. You are informing the universe of the reality you have chosen to create that day. You are giving your marching orders as the captain of your soul. Your words are not mere sounds. They are the magic wand with which you sculpt the energy of the universe. Every phrase you utter is a spell you cast, a vibration that shapes your future. Be impeccable with your word, not only with others, but above all, with yourself. Become the guardian of your own language. Choose the words that build, that empower, that heal. Chapter 6, The Sixth Power, Intuition. Welcome to the sixth and most subtle of the seven powers, the receptive faculty of the soul, the silent compass that guides you through the mystery. Welcome to the power of intuition. We have enthroned the logical mind as the only valid form of intelligence. This tyranny of logic has led us to distrust our intuitive faculty. We have labeled it a gut feeling or magical thinking. This is one of the biggest lies we have told ourselves. Intuition is not illogical. It is supralogical. It is an incredibly advanced and rapid form of intelligence that operates at a speed and scale that leave our conscious mind far behind. To understand it, we must know where it comes from. Intuition has two main sources. The first is your subconscious supercomputer. Your subconscious has recorded every experience of your life. When you face a new situation, your conscious mind can only analyze a few data points. Your subconscious, however, instantly scans its entire database, recognizes subtle patterns, and gives you the conclusion in a fraction of a second. It gives it to you in its own language, a hunch. That feeling of, I know this is right even if I can't explain why, is often the result of a massive, ultra-fast data analysis by your inner genius. The second source of intuition is even deeper. It is your connection to universal intelligence. Your subconscious mind is your access point to the field of consciousness that connects everything. Through this channel, you have the potential to access information beyond the limits of your own personal experience. This is the source of brilliant inspirations, synchronicities, and those inexplicable warnings that save you from danger. The language of intuition is subtle, and we must learn to recognize its different dialects. The most immediate is the body's voice. A true intuitive signal often manifests as a feeling of expansion, an openness in your chest, a sense of lightness. A warning sign as a contraction, a knot in your stomach. Another dialect is silent certainty, a calm, neutral knowing. And of course, there is the language of symbols, dreams, and synchronicities. The biggest challenge is learning to distinguish true intuition from its imposters, fear and desire. The voice of fear is always loud and anxious. The voice of ego's desire is impatient and attached to the outcome. The voice of intuition is radically different. It is calm, neutral, and detached. It is in no hurry. It guides you toward your growth and wholeness, not necessarily your comfort. Practice tuning your inner antenna. Developing your intuition is like tuning a radio to a very subtle frequency. It requires you to turn down the static and learn to trust the signal. Exercise 1. The Ritual of Silence. This is a non-negotiable practice. You can't hear a whisper in the middle of a rock concert. Dedicate at least 10 minutes every day to absolute stillness. No phone, no music, no books. Your goal is not to achieve anything, but to create an empty space. Silence is the amplifier of intuition. Exercise 2. The Hunches Journal. Trust in your intuition is built with evidence. You must prove to your logical mind that intuition is a reliable guide. Dedicate a section of your journal to being a hunch hunter. Create 3 columns: the hunch, my action, and the outcome. In the first, note any intuitive impulse. In the second, note if you followed it. In the third, note what happened. This journal will create an irrefutable personal database that will teach you to trust your inner guide. Exercise 3. The Question to the Inner Oracle. This is a technique for receiving guidance on a specific problem. Step A. The question. Before a receptive activity like sleeping, formulate a clear question for your inner wisdom. Step B. The handover. Once you've asked, completely let go. Don't try to think of the answer. Step C. The reception. Remain in a state of relaxed alertness. The answer may come as a clear idea upon waking, a phrase you overhear, or a symbolic dream. Step D, the capture. When the answer arrives, write it down immediately. Intuition is often fleeting. Your intuition is your inner compass, your direct connection to the universe's infinite wisdom. Learning to listen to it and trust it is how you move from a worn-out map to having real-time GPS for the cosmos. Chapter 7. The seventh power, the will. You possess an arsenal of almost limitless power. But an arsenal, no matter how formidable, is useless without a general to command the troops. An orchestra, with the world's finest instruments, only produces noise without a conductor to unify the musicians into a symphony. Welcome to the conductor's podium, the general's throne. Welcome to the seventh and supreme power that integrates and directs all the others, the power of will. If the other 6 powers are the ministers of your inner kingdom, the will is the sovereign monarch. It is the central faculty of your consciousness, the CEO of your being. Its function is not to create energy, but to direct it. It is the power of conscious, deliberate, and above all, sustained choice. We have been conditioned to confuse will with brute force, with the act of clenching our teeth and fighting against ourselves. But true will is much more elegant. It is not a sweating soldier in the trench. It is the serene general on the hill, observing the entire battlefield and making strategic decisions. The will, like the orchestra conductor, has 3 fundamental functions. The first function, initiative, the starting gesture. The first function of will is initiative. It is the spark that ignites the engine. It is the conductor's initial gesture that raises the baton and gives the first cue to the orchestra. It is the ability to overcome inertia and old habits to take the first step. You can have the clearest vision, the strongest belief, and the most intense emotion, but if you lack the will of initiative, your creation will remain forever in the realm of potential. Initiative is the bridge between the invisible world of intention and the visible world of action. It is often the most difficult function because it requires the most activation energy. But once you have overcome the initial gravity, the movement becomes easier. The second function, persistence, holding the note. Once the symphony has begun, the second and most crucial function of will is persistence. It is the conductor's ability to keep the entire orchestra playing the same score, measure after measure, despite fatigue or distractions. It is sustained will over time. This is where most dreams die. The initial emotion of a new project, initiative, fades, and we find ourselves in the long, tedious middle of the journey. Persistence is the muscle that allows you to keep showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It is not blind stubbornness. It is flexible determination. It is the quality of water that, with its constant dripping, can pierce the hardest rock. It is the serene confidence that the accumulation of small, correct efforts, over time, inevitably produces a monumental result. The third function, inhibition, the power of silence. This is the most subtle and often the most powerful function of will. A great orchestra conductor knows not only when to give a cue, but also when to call for silence. Inhibition is the will's ability to say no. It is the power to veto an impulse, to inhibit an automatic reaction, to silence a musician, a thought, an emotion that is playing out of tune and threatening the harmony of the symphony. When you feel the urge to check your phone and you consciously choose not to, you are using the will of inhibition. When a thought of fear tries to hijack your imagination and you deliberately choose not to follow that mental movie, you are using the will of inhibition. When you feel the temptation to react with anger and you choose to pause, you are using the will of inhibition to protect your emotional state. Inhibition is the power to create space. The space between stimulus and response. The space where your freedom and power of choice reside. A strong will is not only one that pushes, but also one that knows how to restrain itself. Initiative, persistence, and inhibition. These are the 3 faces of the power of will. Practice the conductor's training. Exercise 1. The initiative muscle, the 5-second rule. Procrastination is the enemy of initiative. This technique, popularized by Mel Robbins, is a short circuit for doubt. The next time you have the intuitive impulse to do something you know is right but your mind starts to resist, you will count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at 1 you physically move. You don't give your mind a chance to negotiate. This countdown is a launch ritual that interrupts the habit of hesitation and activates the part of your brain responsible for action. Exercise 2. The persistence muscle, the chain counter. Persistence is fed by consistency. This technique turns discipline into a game. Choose a single daily habit that is crucial for your long-term goal. Get a wall calendar and a red marker. Every day you complete your habit, draw a big red X over that day. After a few days you'll have a chain. Your only job from that point on is not to break the chain. This method is powerful because it uses loss aversion. The pain of breaking a 20-day chain is often a stronger motivator than the pleasure of the task itself. Exercise 3. The inhibition muscle, the sacred pause. This is your practice to regain control of your automatic reactions. Identify a stimulus that habitually provokes a negative, impulsive reaction, an email, a person's behavior. The next time you encounter that stimulus, your mission is to introduce a sacred 3-second pause before reacting. In that pause, take a single deep breath. That's it. You don't have to change your response yet. Just introduce the pause. This small act of inhibition is monumental. It breaks the automatic stimulus-response loop. It returns you to your conductor's seat and gives you the option to consciously choose how you want to respond. The 7 powers, attention, imagination, belief, emotion, word, intuition, and will, are not 7 separate forces. They are the 7 notes of the same octave, your own magnificent consciousness. The will is the conductor who unites them into a symphony. Use attention to focus the musicians on the right score. Use imagination to show them the beauty of the finished piece. Use belief to convince them they are capable of playing it. Use emotion to give them the passion to perform it. Use the word to give clear commands. Listen to intuition for the perfect tempo, and with will hold the vision until the final note. Chapter 8. The Synergy of Powers. The Architect's Ritual. You have filled your toolbox. You know the individual power of attention, the measuring tape of consciousness, of imagination, the design software, of belief, the foundation, of emotion, the energy that fuels the work, of the word, the signed contract, of intuition, the site survey, and of will, the master builder. But a set of tools, no matter how fine, do not build a cathedral on their own. The true magic, the power that shapes worlds, is born not from the separate tools, but from their synergy. It is born when the architect, your sovereign consciousness, uses them all in a unified process with a single clear purpose. While each power operates on its own, your life may have moments of brilliance but also of chaos. Your imagination may be designing a palace, while your inner dialogue, the word, is still decreeing that you only deserve a shack. Your will may be trying to build while your emotions, anchored in old wounds, sabotage the foundations. The next and most important step in your mastery is to learn how to align all your powers, to unify them into a single act of deliberate creation. This is achieved through a ritual. A ritual, in this context, is simply a series of actions performed with a sacred and focused intention. It is the act of entering your architect's office each morning, closing the door to the world, and in the silence, designing the day you choose to build. This ritual is the most important meeting of your day. It is the moment you become the cause of your day, rather than a simple effect of its circumstances. The best time for this ritual is in the morning, right after waking, before the world's noise tries to hijack your tools. Below, I present a blueprint for this ritual. It is a 5-phase construction process. I invite you to use it as a base and adapt it to make it your own. The blueprint of creation, a daily ritual. Phase 1. The site survey, activating intuition. The wise architect does not impose their design without first understanding the site. First, they listen. The ritual does not begin with an action, but with a pause. Before you ask, before you decree, before you visualize, sit in silence for 3 to 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Your only task is to listen to the silence that lies behind the noise of your thoughts. In this silence, you activate your 6th power, intuition. Instead of telling the universe what you want, you humbly ask, What is the quality, the energy, the wisdom that needs to be built through me today? Don't look for a verbal answer. Just pay attention to the first feeling that emerges. That sensation is your soul's topographic report. It shows you the most fertile ground to build on today. Phase 2. The design decision, directing the will. Once you have received the site information, it's time for the architect to make a decision. Using your seventh power will, you will take that sensation and turn it into a clear, deliberate design intention for the day. If the feeling that emerged was calm, your design intention might be, today, I will build my day on a foundation of peace. If it was creativity, today, the design of my day will be innovation. Write this intention in your journal. This act of writing is a commitment. It is the conscious decision of what kind of structure you are going to build today. Phase 3, the decree on the blueprint, using the word and belief. With the design decided, you must now put it on the blueprint with authority. Using your fifth power, the word, you will formulate your decree. Transform your intention into a powerful I am affirmation. I am a center of unbreakable peace. I am a channel of unlimited creativity. Repeat your decree aloud or mentally. With each repetition, you invoke your third power, belief. Feel the truth of those words in every cell of your body. You are not hoping to be peace. You are declaring that peace is the fundamental building material of your day. You are signing the blueprint with the authority of your being. Phase 4. The 3D simulation. The fusion of imagination and emotion. The great architect walks through their building long before the first brick is laid. Close your eyes. And now use your second power, imagination, to create a brief simulation, a mental movie of your day unfolding in perfect alignment with your decree. Don't focus on specific tasks. Focus on the quality of being. If your intention is peace, visualize yourself navigating a stressful situation with a serene calm and smile. While projecting this film, invoke your fourth power, emotion. Feel the emotion of already being in that finished building. Feel the peace. Feel the joy. Feel the gratitude. This emotion is the energy that fuels your subconscious construction crew. Phase 5. The project's illumination, focusing attention. The ritual concludes with a final act of deliberate creation. Maintaining the emotion of your visualization, use your first power, attention. Imagine that the emotion you feel is a bright light at the center of your blueprint. Now, take that light with the focus of your attention and project it forward, like an architect illuminating a model of their project. You are illuminating the path for the builders. You are setting the vibrational frequency for the hours to come. Practice your architect's office. Exercise 1. Design your personalized ritual. The blueprint above is a template. Now build your own office. In your journal, design your own 15-minute ritual. What music helps you enter a state of silence? What is the affirmation that resonates most with your being? What visual image best represents your intention? A ritual that comes from your own creativity will always be more powerful. Exercise 2. The 7-day commitment. The power of a ritual lies in its consistency. Your challenge is to perform your architect's ritual every morning for the next 7 days. No excuses. Create a small calendar and mark with an X each day you complete it. Observe the difference in the quality of your days. Compare a day that begins with conscious design with a day that begins with an automatic reaction to the world's chaos. The evidence of your own experience will become your greatest motivation. The 7 powers are not separate tools to be used occasionally. They are the team of a master architect. Your daily ritual is the moment you sit at your design table and, with intention and power, you draw the blueprint of the reality you choose to build. Chapter 9. The Daily Workshop. Mastery of the Everyday. How do you maintain the architect's vision in the chaos of the worksite? How do you prevent the symphony you composed in the morning from being drowned out by the world's cacophony? True mastery is not forged in the tranquility of meditation, but in the grace with which we navigate the chaos of midday. The 7 powers are not concepts to be admired on a pedestal. They are tools to be used in the trenches of everyday life. Your daily life is not a distraction from your inner work. It is the architect's true workshop, the laboratory where your intentions are put to the test and become reality. The goal of this chapter is to give you practical strategies to use your 7 powers as real-time tools, so you can move from being someone who reacts to circumstances to being someone who creates in the midst of them. The 7 powers in action, a field manual. Let's look at some common situations and how the conscious artisan uses their tools. Situation 1. The difficult meeting or conflictive conversation. Automatic reaction. Your heart races, your mind becomes defensive, you prepare for battle. You stop listening and start formulating your counterattack. Architect's response. Power 1. Attention. You anchor your attention to your breath, to the feeling of your feet on the floor. You create an anchor of calm. Power 6. Intuition. From that calm, you use your intuition to feel the energy of the room. What is behind the other person's words? You stop reacting to the mask and begin to perceive the essence. Power 5. Word. You choose your words with conscious intent. Instead of the language of accusation, you use the language of self-responsibility. I feel. You don't seek to win, but to understand. Power 7. Will. You use inhibition to not interrupt and create space for the other person to express themselves. You use initiative not to attack, but to propose a bridge or a solution. Situation 2. The creative block or lack of inspiration. Automatic reaction, frustration, self-criticism. I'm not good enough. You try to force a solution with more effort, which only increases the block. Architect's response. Power 2. Imagination, and Power 4. Emotion. Instead of forcing, you surrender. You get up from your chair. For 5 minutes, you do a mental simulation of the successful outcome. You deliberately generate the emotion of satisfaction, pride, or relief. You are changing your vibrational state. Power 3. Belief. You reinforce your belief with an affirmation. I am a channel of creativity. The perfect solution is coming to me now, with ease and grace. Power 6. Intuition. You let go of the problem, you trust. You take a walk or a shower. You create a void so your subconscious can offer the answer. Situation 3. The task overload and stress. Automatic reaction, anxiety, a feeling of being overwhelmed. You try to do everything at once, multitasking, which results in low-quality work and total exhaustion. Architect's response. Power 7. Will. You use the power of decision. You look at your to-do list and choose one and only one task that is the most important. You declare that for now, the others don't exist. Power 1. Attention. You create a fortress against distraction. You put your phone in another room. You close all unnecessary tabs. You dedicate a block of time, perhaps just 25 minutes using the Pomodoro technique, of single-focused, absolute attention to that one task. Power 5. Word. You use a decree to frame the activity. I complete this task with calm, focus, and excellence. Situation 4. The unexpected setback, Murphy's Law. Automatic reaction. Frustration, complaining, blaming circumstances. You enter a negativity loop that ruins the rest of the day. Architect's response. Power 3. Belief. You activate the belief that the obstacle is the way. You know this is not a punishment but a lesson or a redirection. Power 6. Intuition. You ask the alchemist question. What is the hidden opportunity here? What is this teaching me? Power 2. Imagination. You use your imagination to visualize possible creative solutions rather than imagining all the negative consequences. Practice your everyday gym. Exercise 1. The conscious pause. This is your fundamental tool. The reset button that lets you move from reaction to creation. Commit that. Every time you feel a wave of a strong contractive emotion, before speaking or acting, you will introduce a pause. This pause can be as short as a single deep, conscious breath. Inhale counting to 4. Exhale counting to 6. In that brief space of silence, you have interrupted the automatic program. You now have a choice. You can ask yourself, what power can I use here to respond more wisely? Exercise 2. Choose your workout of the day. You can't master all 7 powers at once. Choose one each day. In the morning, as part of your ritual, after setting your intention, choose one of the 7 powers as your main practice for the day. Today, My conscious practice will be attention. Throughout the day, actively look for opportunities to practice it. Listen more deeply. Focus on a single task. Tomorrow, my practice will be the word. And that day, pay exquisite attention to your language. This approach allows you to deepen each tool one by one until its use becomes natural. Exercise 3, the integration journal. At the end of the day, dedicate 5 minutes to answering this question in your journal. In what moment today did I consciously use one of my 7 powers to transform a situation? What was the situation? Which power did I use? And what was the result? For example, my child was having a tantrum situation. Instead of reacting with anger, I used the power of emotion to cultivate calm within myself before responding. Action. As a result, the situation de-escalated much faster. Result. By logging your victories, you are anchoring the learning and proving to your subconscious that these new strategies work. Mastery is not demonstrated in the calm of morning meditation, but in the grace with which you navigate the chaos of midday. The 7 powers are not to be admired. They are to be used, to get dirty in the workshop of your life. Your daily life is not a distraction from your inner work. It is the true training ground of the architect of reality. Chapter 10. Living as a conscious creator. The masterpiece is you. This final step isn't about learning a new power. It is about a transformation of identity. It's the moment you stop using the 7 powers and realize that you are the 7 powers. They become such a natural expression of your being that you stop thinking about them. They become unconsciously competent, a second nature. It's the moment the architect stops looking at the blueprints because they have become the building. To understand this state, let's compare the life of the blind artisan with that of the conscious creator. The blind artisan, as we were at the beginning of this journey, sees reality as a hard block of marble, alien and often threatening. They work with fear, striking the stone with effort and hoping not to break it. Their tools feel strange and heavy. Every mistake is a catastrophe that ruins the work. Their joy depends entirely on the final result and the approval of others. The conscious creator, on the other hand, sees reality as fluid clay, a collaborative partner in the dance of creation. They know their tools so intimately that they are an extension of their own hands. They don't fight the material. They listen to it, feel its potential, and guide it with serene intention. A mistake isn't a catastrophe, but an unexpected turn in the design that can lead the work to an even more beautiful place. Their joy lies not in the final result, but in the process itself, in the ecstasy of the creative act. Living as a conscious creator transforms your relationship with all aspects of life. Your relationship with time changes. The blind artisan is a slave to Chronos, the time of the clock. They are always in a hurry. The conscious creator lives in Kairos, qualitative time. They know there are times for quick action and times for patient waiting. They understand that a single instant of inspired action is worth more than 100 hours of forced labor. Your relationship with problems is redefined. The blind artisan sees a problem as a flaw that must be eliminated. The conscious creator sees the problem as an interesting feature, a vein in the marble that can become the focal point of the sculpture. They learn the art of transforming obstacles into distinctive traits of their work, and most importantly, your source of satisfaction shifts. The blind artisan seeks external validation. Their work only has value if others applaud it. The conscious creator finds satisfaction in the act of creation itself. The greatest reward is the feeling of alignment, the joy of seeing an inner vision manifest in the external world through their hands. The world's applause is welcome, but no longer necessary. To anchor this new identity, the conscious creator lives by 3 vows, 3 fundamental commitments that guide all their actions. The first vow, the vow of presence. I commit to living in the only moment that exists, the now. I recognize that my power to create can only be exercised on the canvas of the present moment. This vow is the foundation of everything. It is the commitment to keep your attention anchored in the task at hand. Without presence, the other tools lose their power. The second vow, the vow of sovereignty. I commit to being the sole authority in the creation of my reality. I will honor the guidance of my intuition and use my will to make aligned decisions, free from the need for external approval. This is the vow of self-confidence. It is the act of stopping the search for answers outside and fully trusting your own toolkit. It is the recognition that you are the only architect who can design your life. The third vow, the vow of service. I commit that my creation will not be solely for my own benefit, but will serve to add beauty, order, connection, or transformation to the world. I understand that my masterpiece is my gift to the collective. This vow transcends the ego. It is the understanding that the ultimate purpose of becoming a master artisan is not to accumulate beautiful sculptures for yourself, but to enrich the great museum of human experience. It gives your power a purpose beyond yourself. Practice the artist's signature. The final practice is not about learning a new technique. It is about declaring and embodying your new identity. Exercise 1, the Creator's Manifesto. This is your final act of self-definition. Take your journal. On a new page, write your Creator's Manifesto. This document will be your personal constitution, the declaration of your art. It should answer 3 questions. 1. My vision, the work. What is the masterpiece I have come to create with the material of my life? 2. My tools, the mastery. Which of the 7 powers is my natural master tool, and which one am I committed to sharpening from now on? 3. My signature, the legacy. What is the signature, the unique quality, the feeling I want my life, my work of art, to leave in the hearts of those who experience it? This manifesto is your anchor. It is the document that will remind you who you have chosen to be when the world's noise tries to make you forget. Exercise 2, the daily brushstroke ritual. A masterpiece is not created all at once. It is created with thousands of small, deliberate touches. This exercise adapts your morning ritual to your new identity. Every morning after your moment of silence, read your Creator's Manifesto. Then choose a single, small brushstroke you will make that day to advance your work. One action that is in perfect alignment with your vision, tools, and signature. Today my brushstroke will be to use the power of the word, tool, to express my appreciation to a colleague, vision of a life of connection. Today my brushstroke will be to use the power of will, tool, to dedicate 30 minutes to my personal project, vision of a life of creativity. This practice transforms your days from a series of reactions into a series of conscious brushstrokes on the canvas of your masterpiece. The blind artisan has removed their blindfold. The 7 tools are in your hands not as separate objects but as natural extensions of your own consciousness. The workshop is no longer a place you go to, it is the state you live in. The clay of life responds to your touch with a new docility. And it is here that you discover the final truth, the secret hidden at the heart of the artisan. The masterpiece you have come to create is not an external sculpture, not an empire, not a symphony. The masterpiece is you. You always have been. Now you simply know it. Our journey began in the darkness of a workshop, with a blind artisan who, without knowing it, was sculpting their life by accident. You held in your hands the 7 most powerful tools in the universe, but you couldn't see them, and therefore you couldn't use them with intention. Today the blindfold has fallen. You have journeyed through the knowledge of each of the 7 powers. You have learned to direct the light of your attention. You have designed new worlds in the workshop of your imagination. You have solidified your intentions with the power of belief. You have infused life into your creations with the fuel of emotion. You have decreed your new reality with the word. You have learned to navigate with the silent compass of intuition. And you have unified everything under the direction of your will. And in the process, you have discovered the final truth. Attention, imagination, belief, emotion, word, intuition, and will are not 7 separate powers. They are the 7 rays of the same, single sun. They are the 7 facets of the diamond of your own magnificent consciousness. You are no longer the blind artisan. You are the awake architect. Your journey does not end with these words. It is now that it truly begins. Your only task is no longer to learn more, but to create. The virgin clay of each new moment awaits your intentional touch. The question that will guide you from now on is no longer, how is it done, but what do I choose to create now? The masterpiece you have come to sculpt is not a statue in a museum or a building in a city. The masterpiece is you. If this manual for architects of the soul has resonated with you, We invite you to continue this work by subscribing to our channel, Path of Knowledge. A like on this audiobook tells us that you have decided to take the tools into your hands. And if you believe this message can help another artisan take off their blindfold, we encourage you to share it.